Hello, tubers. This is Pat Jordan coming to you from the Grain Ghetto in Illinois. One of my favorite books, The Elements of Taoism by Martin Palmer, 1991, Chapter 6, The Quest for Immortality, has one of the funniest yet sobering quotes in literature. It is probably true to say that in no other country other than China have so many people poisoned themselves into an early grave in the search of long life and immortality. Just as cigarette packs now bear health warnings, so should the old manuals of Taoism on bodily immortality. Because gold and mercury did not tarnish in the air, the ancients figured that it was incorruptible. Therefore, if they consumed it, they would be incorruptible as well. There might be some merit to that. It's said that those who are poisoned by arsenic are so toxic they will not decompose if buried in the soil. Have you ever wondered how monatomic gold became an overnight fad, yet the FDA has completely been silent on this heavy metal poison? Gold has an affinity for DNA and actually turns the structure into an antenna. Before you start sucking down the swill to pretend to be as hip as an Egyptian pharaoh mummy, you better find out who is running the broadcast station running that antenna. For those who do not know me and are not accustomed to my version of stream of consciousness called continuum, you might be wondering what the hell this has to do with money. Gold, the thing that the elders of Zion said was the basis of their power. Gold and silver, the things that Lysander Spooner said were not money, but commodities. So, what is money? My failing memory can't pin the tail on the Socrates or the Aristotle to remember which one said that a unit of exchange must be time and value invariant to be money. The idea of inflation alone obviates every damn form of currency and cash, two completely different words if you're paying attention, including precious metal commodities. Hell, just gold alone went from $800 to $1,800, while the fixed international exchange rate stays in the upper $40 range. Yes, I said 40 fucking dollars. No wonder Libya was invaded for refusing to give up their gold when the artificial trading prices were high. Saddam Hussein was supposed to have a golden bathtub. I wonder if he had a golden shower too. But anyway, if nothing qualifies as money, then what is this monopoly paper that is being tossed around like it means something? This is where it gets hairy. In the dark arts, you can have a spell. A spell can be enacted by words spoken or written, through a potion or through a vehicle, whether animate or inanimate. An amulet can be a charm or a warding device. To be charmed is to be under a spell. Do you feel comfortable now with your precious daughter wanting to wear a charm bracelet? You see, if you don't know the words, then you are subject to your ignorance, false assumptions, or being put under the spell of those words. Black magic is illusion. What better illusion than money? Here you have a device, a sigil, that has obvious occult symbology on it, invoking God, whatever the hell that is, because God was never defined. It could mean the God of the fucking underworld, for Christ's sake, and Christ would have nothing to do with it. Truer words have never been spoken, because if you take the legends of the Yahushua, he was taken to a high mountain and shown all the kingdoms of the world and offered them if he would just worship the Hasatan. Here you have who is promoted as God incarnate, yet instead of snapping Scratch's neck like a dead twig and ridding the universe of the scourge, he simply said, "No, you can keep it." Because that was the deal, wasn't it? The God thing that was supposedly safe in orbit had pretty much relinquished control over the Earth to Old Horny. I have yet to meet a Christian who does not say with conviction that God allows Satan to rule the earth. The reason why I spell it EA-RTH is because it accurately represents the spelling of one of the Babylonian Trinity names of Ea, which is Yah, with the indication that this planet was Yah's wrath. But we were on money. Can't we keep on topic? But we are on topic. This spellcasting device called the dollar creates the illusion that your blood, sweat, and tears, the essence of real money, can be traded for a black magic's game piece that then has this absolutely magical ability to suffer inflation or deflation to the point where its current value, since its inception of being defined as 100 cents, is worth only 3 cents. That's fucking magic, man. That and the fact that the definition of a dollar is that it is 100 cents. So you look up what a cent is and find out that it is 1/100th of a dollar. That's fucking magic, man. What an illusion. What an Ouroboros. That's the image of the serpent with its tail in its mouth that everyone thinks is devouring itself, when the true opposite day explanation is that the serpent is speaking itself into existence. So what is money? A dollar is 100 cents. 100 cents at one time was backed by gold, but now by oil. The reason I talk about an autopsy of gods, G-O-D-S, in my early book is that gold, oil, diamonds, and salt are at the heart of this black magic's control operation. They have all been used as metrics of human life, even back to the days when a slave was considered if they were even worth their weight in salt to maintain. Blood diamonds, enough said there. Oil is called black gold. But we learn from Lysander that gold is also a commodity, so it isn't even money. So gold too is subject, as we have seen, to the illusion of inflation and deflation, which means that according to the famous Greek definition of money being time and value invariant, that, well, is there a simple word that describes total fucking scam? But what would we do without money? Work, same as we do now. And like the Amish with a barn raising, if your neighbor needed a barn raised, you would help them, because when you needed a barn raised, they would help you. This is called cooperation. If you had a trunk of turnips and your neighbor had a parcel of pork, then you would barter. Each took time and effort to raise, and the value of the turnips versus the value of the pork would be decided by the two of you, and only you, not some third party printing debt devices 90 times more than they are mythically valued at, which also comes with an interest charge just for touching them. See, when you say it that way, then the question of what would we do without money, the answer would be thrive and prosper. But that's the beauty of this world of darkness illusion. Money has so taken over the minds of men and women that they cannot imagine a world without it. They cannot imagine actually trusting or negotiating with their fellow man without the outside arbiter that takes a pound of flesh with each transaction and has so manipulated the value of goods, the rate of exchange, and the value of that device that you fall deeper and deeper into poverty. Yet the only response is not to kill the enslavers, but to run faster in the gerbil cage to try to get more what? The spells that were inscribed on parchment. If you can't imagine a world where you live without money, then you can't imagine a world that was not designed by your controllers. If you are controlled from anything outside of yourself, then you don't belong to you. Yes, there are physical consequences to attempting to extract yourself from the curse. If you try to live without money, then those who control the money and the commodities that it can buy, along with those who are so enchanted by money that they cannot live without it, will marginalize you and abuse you to the point where you lose your livelihood or life. But based on what? The physicality of refusal to trade or barter without the black magic illusionary paper is the literal consequence, but the prime mover for those events to occur was the belief that money was somehow a thing, that it had value, that it had power. So again, we are confronted with the power of black magics, that of illusion. An entire human population is so hypnotized by the spell that they believe that something that is a black magic's device has power, and that they cannot live without that power, and that everyone must have and use that power, even though the device is draining the very life force from everyone who touches it. When I study the dark side, I am sometimes impressed. Not from a point of view of admiring it or being seduced by the seeming limitless power that it displays, because it has always been my stated goal to destroy it beyond the quantum resonance. No, I'm impressed that something as simple as thought, that money that is not money, has value, and that it is desirable and has power on its own outside of the collected delusion of the users and usurers. So was it ever the dollar or the spell or the thought of the victim that exerted the control over a physical universe? But if what was once a victim then inflicts that spell on others, are they not co-conspirators and collaborators with evil? This is why the language of putting a charge on something to create a debt that can be paid by currency has all of its roots in electricity. This is the heart of what Silent Weapons for Quiet Wars outlined. If you can't conceive a world without money and without those who created it, then you cannot change the world you are in to make it in your image instead of the world of darkness that was given to you.